Hello friends, welcome to my English classroom. I'm your English teacher Sheikh Rafi. Today in this video, I'm going to start C reading from Unit 2 of your English textbook. The theme of the unit is wit and humor, and the name of the lesson is The Brave Potter. So let us start the lesson. Before starting the lesson, let us quickly recall the theme of this unit. The theme of the unit is wit and humor. Wit means intelligence or cleverness of a person, whereas humor means a comedy, a funny story that makes you laugh. So overall in this unit, we have 3 lessons which are full of humor and wit. So let us see C reading. The title of the lesson is The Brave Potter. Here, brave means bold, daring or courageous, whereas potter refers to a person who makes pots. So overall in this lesson, we are going to study the story of a potter who is very brave. So let us find out who is this potter and what is the bravery that he shows. I want all of you to open page number 75 of your textbook. Before starting the lesson, let us quickly see about the author. Margaret Sack was a great storyteller. He was very much interested in telling folk and mythological stories of Asia. So Margaret Sack, he tells stories of Asia, particularly folk stories and mythological stories. Folk stories are the local stories. Every area, every region, there are some stories which are specifically famous in that region. Such stories are called folk stories. Whereas mythological stories, they refers to stories relating to gods or goddesses. He traveled across many Asian countries and collected interesting stories from various countries and published them in English. So all the folk stories were translated by Margaret Sack into English. He translated many famous Indian folk stories into English. The present short story, The Brave Potter, is a very popular Telugu one collected by him from India. So now let us enter into the lesson. All of you open page number 70. The Brave Potter. Margaret Sack has chosen a very well-known Indian folk tale for retelling in English. So folk tale means a folk story. Children and adult alike are fond of folk tales. Now that is a true fact. Not only children but also adults, grown-up people, they also like folk tales, which are often amusing and sometimes instructive. So folk tales are both, they are amusing and are instructive. Amusing means they are entertaining, they are very funny, at the same time they are instructive, they give you some morals. So let us start the lesson. It was dark. Thick black clouds covered the evening sky. The thunder roared and the strong wind shook the branches and leaves of the trees in the forest. So we can understand that in the very opening scene, it is going to rain. There are thick black clouds covering the entire sky and it is thundering. See further, pit pat, drops of rain fell. So it started raining. Then the lightning flashed and split the black sky with its blinding light. So when it lightens, the light is blinding. You cannot see towards the light. It is very bright. Soon it was raining heavily. So that is how the lesson starts. An old tiger ran through the forest looking for shelter. Now this is a scene in the forest. An old tiger ran through the rain looking for shelter. He was wet and cold and his cave was far away. Cave is a place where a tiger or a lion lives. Generally it's a hole in a mountain or some cliffs, etc. While hurrying to his shelter, he saw an old hut. Now, while on the way, it was going to the cave, it found an old hut. With a sigh of relief, the tiger crawled under the thatched roof and lay down by the door. The cave was far away. So, the moment the tiger saw an old hut, it felt a sigh of relief. A sigh of relief. And what did the tiger do? The tiger crawled under the thatched roof. Thatched means roof made of leaves or tree branches, etc. So it crawled under the thatched roof and lay down by the door. Except for the sound of the rain, all was quiet. So the tiger was at the edge of the forest, so everything was quiet. Only the sound of the rain. Before he could nod off, however, he heard something heavy being dragged inside the hut. Before he could nod off means before the tiger could fall asleep, the tiger heard something. What was that? He heard something heavy being dragged inside the hut. So there was someone living in the hut and that person was dragging something very heavy. So he heard that sound. This was followed by the voice of a woman. Now, who was dragging the heavy thing? It was a woman. And what was that voice saying? See, "Oh, how terrible this leak is," she complained. The woman in the hut, she is complaining, how terrible, how horrible this leak is. What is a leak? Generally, you would have seen either in pipes or old houses, when it rains, it starts leaking. The water starts leaking. The water enter into the house through the cracks or holes in the walls. So that water that falls from there, it is called a leak. We know in the story just now we studied that it was raining, so it was a thatched hut. So water started leaking in the hut. So what is the woman doing? She is complaining about the leak. And what does the woman says? "Oh, how terrible this leak is," she complained. How terrible. "I would rather meet a tiger in the forest rather than having this leak in my house." An old woman, that old woman is complaining, "I can face a tiger, but I can't face this leak." Now, can you imagine what will happen to the tiger which is sitting outside? The tiger is listening to the woman. See the reaction. A leak? The tiger thought. A leak? The tiger thought. What is a leak? It must be very dangerous and strong, or the woman would not be more frightened of the leak than of me. Am I not really called the king of the forest? Aren't they all afraid of me? I wonder what a leak looks like. Now, here there is a confusion in the minds of the tiger. In the mind of the tiger is confused. I am the king of the jungle. I am the most ferocious animal in this forest. And this woman, she is not afraid of me. She is afraid of leak. She is ready to face me rather than facing the leak. So the tiger starts thinking, what is this leak? How does it look? Is it much more stronger than me? That's the doubt which is there in the minds of the tiger. Soon afterwards, the tiger fell asleep. It was already tired, it was wet, it was cold. So soon afterwards, the tired tiger fell asleep. He was suddenly awakened by an angry voice shouting in his ear. Right? When the tiger was asleep, it was awakened by a voice, angry voice shouting in his ear. He felt heavy blows upon him. He means the tiger felt heavy blows. Blows means beating. Someone was beating the tiger. He felt heavy blows fall upon his head and shoulders. See, what is that voice saying? "You horrible beast!" A voice screamed angrily. Screaming means shouting. Someone was shouting at the tiger, "You horrible beast!" A voice screamed angrily, "How dare you run away? How dare you make me walk about in the middle of the night trying to find you? Be careful. One of these days I will kill you. Now go home." We don't know who is this creature. Somebody came, he started beating the tiger, he was shouting the tiger, and he warned the tiger that the tiger had troubled that creature very much, and he had decided to kill him if he doesn't follow the instructions of the creature. So what the tiger do? The old tiger shivered. The old tiger shivered. "This must be the leak who has come out of the hut. I would better do as he says, or he will kill me." The tiger understood that this must be definitely the leak who was there inside the hut, and he has come out now and he will kill me if I don't follow what he says. So what the tiger do? So the tiger allowed himself to be bound around the neck with a thick rope. So that creature, what did that creature do? That creature tied a rope around the tiger's neck. The mysterious creature then climbed onto the tiger's back and pulled at the rope. The creature climbed upon the tiger and pulled at the rope. "Come on, head for home." That creature who was sitting on the back of the tiger, he ordered the tiger to go ahead for the home, shouted the voice. The tiger felt a sharp kick on his sides. So the creature that was sitting on the tiger, it kicked on both the sides of the tiger. You can see the picture they have given there. So what is that creature? It is a man who is sitting on the tiger. So let us try to find out who is this brave man who can control a tiger in this way. The tiger was terrified and he ran through the dark forest. The creature pulled hard on the rope to tell him which way to go. So the creature, the man who was sitting on the tiger, he was pulling the rope this side and that side, showing the way to the tiger, which way through go. At the same time, it scolded, cursed and kicked the poor tiger all the way through the forest. What was that creature doing? It was scolding the tiger, it was cursing the tiger, and it was kicking the poor tiger. Soon they stopped in front of a small hut on the edge of the thick forest. They reached near a hut at the edge of the thick forest. The creature climbed down from the tiger's back and bound him. Bound him means tied him. Bound him with an iron chain nearby a tree. Bound him by an iron chain to a nearby tree. The creature got down. He tied the tiger with an iron chain to the tree. Then he went inside the hut. That creature went inside the hut. We know that creature is a human. He is a man. The tiger could not free himself from the chain. Why? It was an iron chain. So he had to spend a miserable night under the tree. It had to spend a miserable night, a very bad night, a very poor night under the tree. Who was this creature who was able to capture such a large and dangerous tiger? Let us find out. So see the next part of the story, continuation of it. What happens here? On the afternoon of that day. Now we are talking about afternoon. This scene took place at night when it was raining. On that night, before that afternoon, what happens? On the afternoon of that day, a potter, now here enters our hero. A potter had arrived home after a hard day's work. He came home after a hard day's work. He was tired and thirsty. He had asked his wife for some palm wine. What is palm wine? It's a local wine that is extracted from palm trees. So palm wine. The more he drank, he felt better. He felt better. When he had drunk all the wine, he no longer felt tired. What did the potter do? He was tired. He came home and he started drinking palm wine. The more he drank, the better he felt. And when he had drunk all the wine, he no longer felt tired. When the storm began, so at that time, so almost by evening time, the storm began. It started raining heavily. So what happens? When the storm began, the potter suddenly remembered that he had left his donkey tied under the tree. Oh, now that's the problem. The potter had a donkey. The donkey was tied under the tree. And now it was going to rain. So what happened? He rushed out of his hut to take the animal into the stable. He wanted to take the donkey into the stable. What is stable? Stable is a shed built for keeping animals. You can see here in this picture. He rushed out of his hut to take the animal into the stable. You can imagine his anger when he discovered that the donkey was not there anymore. The potter came out of the hut. He wanted to take the donkey to the shed, but to his surprise, he found that the donkey was not there under a tree. He got very angry. He got very angry. The only thing left was its chain. So there was only chain. Which chain? Iron chain. Now I hope you can link the stories, the story of the tiger and the story of the lost donkey of the potter. Let us see what happens. My stupid donkey must have run off into the forest. He grumbled. He grumbled. What is grumbling? Grumbling means complaining in low voice. When people are generally angry, we complain in a low voice. That is called grumbling. So what is he grumbling? My stupid donkey must have run off into the forest. When I catch him, I will give him a good beating. The potter decided that if he catches the donkey, he is going to give him a good beating. Let us see what happens further. The potter walked through the wet forest. Now here you should understand, the potter was fully drunk. The potter walked through the wet forest. When it became dark, he often stumbled over roots and fallen branches. What is stumbling? When you take a wrong step, you stumble, you may fall down. So he stumbled over roots and fallen branches. With each step, the potter felt angrier and angrier with his donkey. Now the donkey had troubled the potter a lot. It was a storm, it was raining heavily, and it was night. And this potter, he went into the forest in search of his donkey. So naturally, the potter was very angry. When I catch him, I will tie up under the tree all night, he muttered to himself. So that is the punishment he decided for the donkey. What he will do? If he catches the donkey, he will bring the donkey and tie it up under the tree all night. Let it get wet in the rain. Hours later, the potter reached the old woman's hut. Which old woman? Yes, the old woman who has a hut in the forest and in front of which the tiger was actually sleeping. So hours later, the potter reached the old woman's hut. There he saw an animal sleeping in front of the door. Oh God! Now I hope you will be able to relate both the stories. So what did the potter caught? Did he catch the donkey or the tiger? Yes, he caught the tiger. See what happens. There he is, he shouted. There he is, the stupid animal. What is that stupid animal? Is it donkey? No, it is the tiger. So there he is, he shouted. There he is, the stupid animal. The drunken potter did not notice the difference between the donkey and a tiger. He kicked and bet the sleeping tiger. He kicked and bet the sleeping tiger. He then jumped onto the frightened animal's back, rode it home, and then tied it with the iron chair. Oh, so that was a very, very big mistake, or we can say it's just a mere luck that took place with the potter. Right? He mistook the tiger to be his donkey. Now thing is, why did the tiger cooperated with the potter? It's all because before going to sleep, the tiger had heard the voice of the woman. The woman was complaining how horrible the leak was. So tiger thought that the potter was actually the leak. So the tiger itself was afraid. So it cooperated with the potter. So what happened? See, next morning, the villagers who passed the potter's house looked in amazement at the tiger tied to the tree. All the people in the village, they were shocked, they were amazed to see the tiger tied to the tree. Soon the news spread throughout the village that the potter had caught a tiger and tied it to a tree in his yard. In his yard. All the villagers praised his courage. All the villagers praised his courage, his braveness. Now question is, was he actually brave or was it his luck? He was absolutely lucky. But to the villagers, it seemed as if he was very brave. So everyone praised his courage. They also thanked him. Oh, the villagers thanked the potter. Why? Because the tiger had eaten many of their goats and buffaloes. They had tried to catch him for many years but had failed. Of course, the potter said that he had done nothing of that sort. The potter never knew that he caught a tiger. So he never believed what the villagers said. He said that he had only brought his donkey home. He did not understand how a donkey could change into a tiger. When he saw the tiger, he fainted. He became unconscious. So that is how he reacted when he actually saw the tiger. Now can you understand why he was so brave in the night? Maybe because he was drunk and he could not differentiate between a tiger and the donkey. So he mistook the tiger to be his donkey, and he brought the tiger home and tied it up in front of his house. Nobody, however, believed the potter's story. Nobody believed what potter said. The villagers even praised him. For being modest. People thought that he is very modest person. What do you mean by modest? A person who is not at all boosting himself. Right? Generally, people when they do great things, they boast. They talk a lot about it. They of what they have done. But here, this person was not at all proud. He was modest. Soon, the potter became famous. Everybody who met him called him the brave potter. They called him the brave potter. The simple potter never understood why. He never understood why people are calling me brave potter, though he was only a simple potter. So that was the first part of the story. The continuation of it is given there. See what happens there. A few years later, war broke out between the potter's country and a much stronger neighbor. The king immediately gathered a large army. Now, it was a warlike situation. So the king gathered a large army, but he realized that it was not strong enough to save his country from defeat. The enemy was stronger. The king of the potter's country had a large army, but he knew that this army will not be sufficient to defeat the enemy. He needed a hero to lead his army. Generally, who leads the army? The general of the army. So here he needed a hero to lead his army. Where could he find such a brave man? The king is thinking, where could he find such a brave man? The king hurriedly called his ministers together and asked their advice. So he conducted a court. He took the advice of all his ministers who could lead his army. One of the ministers remembered the story of the brave potter. One of the ministers remembered the story of the brave potter. Now we know that he is not brave. He was actually lucky to get hold of a tiger instead of his donkey. But the people thought that he was a brave potter. So one of the ministers remembered the story of the brave potter. Your Majesty, the minister said, I know someone who can lead our army. The minister said, I know someone who can lead our army. So leading army means they have decided to make the potter the general of the army. The king immediately sent a messenger to the potter's house. When the potter realized that he had been made general of the army, he became frightened. He became frightened. Why he was frightened? See that the king had ordered him to go to the palace the next week. Go to the palace the next day. How could he, a poor ignorant potter, become the general of the army? Now these are the thoughts that are going on in the mind of the potter. He is thinking, I am a poor ignorant potter. Ignorant means a person who doesn't know anything. So he doesn't know anything about army, warfare, etc. I am ignorant. And how can I become the general of the army? He had never carried a sword. He had never carried a sword, nor had he ever ridden a horse. Now this kind of person was made the general of the army. He had never used a sword. Without using a sword, how can you win a war? Without riding a horse, how can you defeat the enemy? Now that was the problem with the potter. See what happens. He says, oh, I shall die because of that stupid donkey, groaned the potter to his wife. Again, groaning means complaining, right? He is complaining in a low voice to his wife. What is he saying? He says, oh, I shall die because of that stupid donkey. Why he got such a fame in the village? Because of the stupid donkey. He was a simple potter, but he became the brave potter. So he says, he has only brought us trouble. He has only brought us trouble. He refers to the donkey. The next day, he went with his wife to the capital of the kingdom. The next day, he went with his wife to the capital. The king was pleased to see him. The king doesn't know the reality of the potter. The king was pleased to see him and ordered the potter to lead the army into the battle the next day. The king ordered him to lead the army into the battle the next day. The enemy were not far from the gates of the city. The enemy had almost come very close to the city. So the king ordered the potter to lead the army the next day itself. A splendid house had been prepared for the potter and his wife. The king immediately gave the potter a splendid house. What do you mean by splendid house? A beautiful, a very rich, a very big house was given to the potter. Now he is the general of the army. He is the general of the army. A splendid house had been prepared for the potter and his wife. The horse which would carry him into the battle was ready in the stable. What is stable? Yes, a shed where animals are kept. Generally, horses are kept in stable. So the horse was also ready, which will carry the general into the battle. Now see, now this potter, he doesn't know how to use a sword and he doesn't know how to ride a horse. How is he going to win the battle or even fight the battle? Let us see further. That night, the potter could not sleep. Why he could not sleep? Because he was nervous and worried because he did not know how to ride a horse. How to ride a horse. See what are his thoughts. If I fall off, everybody will laugh at me, he thought. I will get up very early tomorrow and practice riding the horse. Oh God, the next day he has to go on a battle with the enemy country and he decides that I will get up early in the morning and practice horse riding. Can we learn horse riding within 1 hour or 2 hours or even in a day or two? So what is the potter doing? He is planning to get up early in the morning and practice riding the horse at the dawn. At the dawn. Dawn means early morning. The daybreak. At the dawn, the potter woke up his wife and they went to the stable, the shed where the horse was kept. They saw the beautiful brown horse ready for its new master, the general. Oh, how tall he is! The potter was very short in height. So he looks at the horse and says, "Oh, how tall he is!" sighed the potter. "I shall never be able to climb onto his back. I shall never be able to climb onto his back." See what's his wife's suggestion. She says, "Put this bench beside him," said the wife, "and use it as a step." The potter, he is really a very, very normal man. He never rode a horse. He doesn't know how to climb a horse. Generally, the generals of the army, they jump and climb the horse. But here, he is using a bench to climb the horse. See what happens? Even with the help of the bench, the potter had much difficulty climbing onto the horse's back. So even using the bench, he found it very difficult to climb on the back of the horse. When he was finally seated, he stepped onto the bench and from there he climbed onto the horse's back. So when he was finally seated, he found the saddle was very slippery. He found that the saddle was very slippery. What is saddle? The saddle is the leather seat on which the horse rider sits. You can see here in this image. Yes, that is a saddle, a leather seat. So the saddle was very slippery. So he says to his wife, what he says? "Please tie my feet to the stirrups, dear wife," said the potter. "Otherwise, I shall certainly fall off." He is asking his wife to tie his feet to the stirrups. What are the stirrups? Stirrups are the metal rings that are hanging from the saddle on which generally the horse rider, he keeps his feet for support. So he is asking his wife to tie it with a rope. So what does the wife do? His wife found some rope and bound her husband's feet. Bounding means tying up. So she bound her husband's feet tightly to the stirrups. She then passed the rope underneath the horse and tied the stirrups together. Oh, she not only tied the feet of the potter, but also tied both the stirrups from under the horse. Now, can you imagine what will happen? The potter is never going to fall from the horse because he is totally tied up to the horse. So, what happens? She also passed a length of rope around the potter's waist and tied him to the saddle. So waist, she put the rope around his waist and tied him totally to the saddle. See the next sentence. The potter says, "Now please tie my hands to his neck." His neck means neck of the horse. The potter says, "Now please tie my hands to his neck," said the potter. Meanwhile, the big brown horse was impatiently pawing his hooves on the ground. The horse became impatient. The horse was also getting ready to run. It was pawing. It was constantly rubbing its legs on the ground. It means the horse was getting ready to run. It was getting ready to gallop. See what happens there? Meanwhile, the big brown horse was impatiently pawing his hooves. Hooves means the feet, the foot of the horse. When the potter's wife tried to pass another rope around his neck, the horse suddenly jumped free. The horse suddenly jumped free. It jumped out of the stable. His wife, the potter's wife, couldn't tie his hands. Only his waist was tied to the saddle and both the legs were tied to the stirrups. Hands were still free. And the horse started running. What happens there? See, it galloped out of the stable. Galloped means running. Generally, when a horse runs, it runs very fast. It runs with all its four legs in the air. It is called galloping. It is called galloping. So it galloped out of the stable with the potter hanging like a sack of rice on its back. So it was not the potter who was riding the horse. It was the horse which was pulling the potter. So the potter was simply hanging like a sack of rice on its back. Only the ropes kept him from crashing to the ground. Only the ropes, because he was tied with the ropes, he didn't fell down, right? He didn't fall down. The potter held tightly to the horse's neck and prayed to all the gods to save his life. The potter started praying all the gods, whoever he knew, to save his life. After galloping through the quiet streets, the horse crashed through the city gates and raced across the open fields. The horse totally went out of the city. Now it was running in the open fields. It leapt over fences and streams and began to head for the enemy camp. Through the fields, through the streams, the horse was jumping, leaping, and it was taking the potter towards the enemy camp, towards the enemy's camp. When the potter realized where they were going, he tried harder than ever to stop the horse. He understood that the horse was taking him towards the enemy camp. So he tried to stop the horse with full energy, but it was of no use. He pulled wildly on the reins, but it was of no use. The horse galloped on. It kept on running and running. When they passed a young tree, the potter grabbed a branch. But the horse did not stop. Instead, the tree was pulled out of the ground. What did the potter do? He thought of stopping the horse. He saw a young tree, so he held the branch of the tree. He thought that the horse will stop. But instead, what happened? The tree was uprooted. A sentry from the enemy's camp saw the potter galloping towards the camp. A sentry from the enemy's camp. Who are there? A sentry was there. Who is a sentry? A sentry is a guard, security guard, a soldier who generally keep the guard at the night time. So a sentry saw from the enemy's camp, and what he saw? He saw that the potter galloping towards the camp with a tree in one hand and his reins in the other. You can see the picture they have given there. Now if you look at the picture, you can understand how horrible it looks. The person who sees this, he will think that this person is a very mighty person. This person is a very mighty person. How is he? He is having a tree one hand, and in another hand he is holding the reins of the horse. So see there what happens. What happens to the sentry? A sentry from the enemy's camp saw the potter galloping towards the camp with a tree in one hand and his reins in the other. That must be the general who captured a tiger with his bare hands, he thought. Oh, the sentry is totally confused. He is having his own opinion. When he looks at that potter, he says, that must be the general who captured the tiger with his bare hands, he thought. Now he has uprooted a tree with only one hand. Oh God. Now sentry here also is confused in the same way as the villagers were. The villagers thought that the potter was really brave, and here the sentry, he sees the potter having a tree in his hand. So he thinks that the potter is really very strong, and he has uprooted a tree with a single hand, and he is coming towards their camp. So what is his reaction? That must be the general who captured a tiger with his bare hand, he thought. Now he has uprooted a tree with only one hand. He is not an ordinary man. He is a giant. He is a giant. Giant means he is very strong. He is very powerful. Run, run, save yourself. The sentry started shouting. He is shouting to his own soldiers. What is he shouting? Run, run, save yourself. The famous tiger general is coming at the head of a large army to attack us. He has the strength of a giant. He has uprooted a tree with one hand. In this way, the sentry alarmed all the soldiers in the enemy camp. What he said? Come, run, all of you, run and save your lives. Who is coming? The tiger general is coming. And how is he? He is like a giant. He has uprooted a tree with his single hand. Oh God, oh God. So we can see here that the image, the picture of the potter was absolutely shown the opposite way to the sentry. He totally saw in a different way. We know how actually the potter was feeling. He was totally afraid of sitting on the horse. He tried to stop the horse, but he couldn't. He tried to stop the horse by holding the branch of the tree, but the tree was uprooted. It was a young tree. It was uprooted. But to the sentry, the entire scene was totally different. He thought him to be the tiger general, the giant, the most powerful. So he says to all the soldiers to run and save their lives. So what happens? The frightened soldiers fled. The frightened soldiers fled. Fled means running away. So they all ran away from the camp. Their king was left by himself in his tent. Hurriedly, he wrote a letter begging for peace and apologizing for attacking the country. What did the king do? He was all alone left in the camp. He immediately took a letter and wrote a letter of apology. Apology means regretting, feeling sorry. Why the king was sorry? Sorry to attack the potter's country. So he wrote a letter. He left his letter in the tent. Then he jumped on his horse and followed his soldiers. So the king also left the camp. When the potter's brown horse reached the deserted camp, it stopped. Finally, the horse reached the camp. How was the camp? It was deserted. It was empty. There was no one. So when he reached the deserted camp, it stopped. The horse stopped. With shaking hands, the potter untied his feet and fell to the ground. He untied himself and fell on the ground. When he looked around, he was surprised to find that the camp was empty. Enemy camp was empty. Why? Because all the soldiers had already fled. He looked in the king's tent and found the letter. He looked in the king's tent and found the letter. The puzzled potter walked back to the city with the letter in his pocket. He walked back. He didn't climb the horse again. He walked back with the letter in his pocket. He went to his wife and gave her the letter. Dear wife, he said, never in my life will I ride a horse again. Never in my life will I ride a horse again. So he decided he's never going to ride a horse in his life again. Please take this letter to our king and tell him that the enemy has run away. I am going to bed. So he was totally tired of riding the horse. So he said, I am going to bed. His wife ran to the palace with the letter. When the king read the letter, he was full of praise for his new general. He was full of praise for his new general. He asked the potter's wife where her husband was. The wife said, my husband is tired, your majesty. The servants have put him in a bed, answered the wife respectfully. So wife said, my husband is very tired. He is tired of fighting the battle, or he is tired of riding the horse. He was tired of riding the horse. So she says, he is very tired and the servants have put him to the bed, answered the wife respectfully. Let him rest today. Tell him to come tomorrow to receive his reward, the king said. The king said, so the king was really happy that the general had won the war, and he wanted to reward the general. Next morning, the potter went to the king's palace. The potter went to the king's palace. He left the brown horse in the stable. Generally, when the generals of the army win war, you know how they go towards the palace? They take out a procession. The general will sit on the horse and ride, and the soldiers will follow them. Then they will go to the king, and the king will reward them. But here the scene is totally reverse. He left the brown horse in the stable and walked to the palace with his wife. The streets were filled with cheering crowds. Everyone who saw the potter, he was cheering him. They had all heard about his brave action. The villagers all had heard about the brave action of the potter. What was his brave action? He defeated the enemy single-handedly. Look how humble he is, they said to each other. The villagers, they are talking to each other. Look how humble he is. Humble means so polite, so modest. Who is modest? The potter. Why? Any other man who ride to the palace on the horse. Any other man would ride to the palace on the horse, but he is walking like an ordinary man. He is truly a humble and a brave man. So this is the impression which all the people in the capital got about him. The king rewarded the potter so well that he did not need to work again. The country was peaceful for the rest of his life, and the potter never rode a horse again. So this is how the beautiful story comes to an end. So children, here you would have understood that in this story the potter was never brave, was never mighty or powerful, but he was only and only lucky. It was only his luck that he caught a tiger, mistaking it to be his donkey, and it was his sheer luck that the sentry in the enemy camp thought that he was a tiger general, the mighty, who is going to kill them. And in both these ways he got good name in his own village and also a very good name in front of the king, and he led a happy life thereafter. So that was all about sea reading The Brave Potter. Children, I hope all of you would have enjoyed this lesson full of fun and comedy. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.